We think of internships as something that college kids do in the summertime, but they can also be a way for adults to explore new careers and get a leg up in today's tough job market. GMA's workplace contributor Tory Johnson is here to tell you what you can get out of an internship and to share a few success stories. And these really are success stories.
They are. All of these people are so happy.
The first thing you might think, though, Tory, is that internships are for college students. You don't get paid at all for them, or if you do, it's very, very little.
Right, if at all, if you get paid. And so you shouldn't think of an internship as in lieu of searching for that paid position. Instead, you think of it as a stepping stone of building experience and contacts that are ultimately going to help you get that paid position. And what's really important for adults, since they're not going to be receiving college credit and they're probably not going to get paid, is to make their pitch personal, to be able to go into a local business and to be able to say to that business owner or that professional association or that nonprofit, listen, I'm out of work right now, and I'm convinced that if I just had this very specific skill, it would help me get hired. So allow me to give you my time and talent in exchange for this experience, because you're going to get helped along the way, but at the end of the day, you're really doing me a favor to help me get hired.
And how do you convince that employer to also pay you something instead of just taking your services for free?
Well, I think, sometimes depending on what it is that you're offering or how valuable you can be to them, sometimes it's a low hourly wage that you could agree to. Sometimes maybe it's a stipend that you're going to ask them for to help cover your transportation and your lunch expenses. Don't expect to get paid a lot. And frankly, you're using this as a stepping stone to get to that better paid position.
And you actually say that some of these internships can be fantastic for stay-at-home moms who are trying to get back into the job force.
Yes. So there's a couple of examples. The first is a mom who has 3 grown daughters who's looking to potentially think about an act 2, a next step. And I really love this example because it's allowed her to test drive a career before investing the time and money in formal education. So Margie Lyons decided that what she's really interested in is potentially the culinary arts. Cooking. Very expensive, though, to get the formal training and education. So she decided to go into a local restaurant in her area and say, hey, could you let me come into the kitchen? So she's become the first mom intern at Plates Restaurant in Westchester, New York, where she's in there learning everything from preparing desserts to tying sausages. I mean, really everything, that hands-on experience that's allowing somebody to discover, does my fantasy of what this profession is match what the reality is? And you only get that by actually doing it, living it, being in that role.
And you told me she's liking it.
She's loving it.
Loving it. Great. You also said that an internship can be an incredibly great way to help change the direction of your career if you're feeling frustrated or stymied in what you're doing.
Yeah, there's another great example of it's another mom, but this mom in particular has been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. No paycheck for 7 years. So for somebody like that, the biggest hurdle is to fill a gap on a resume and to stay busy while looking for a position. And so Jessica Hayes decided that she had a great career working in client services for a company in high-tech marketing. And she decided that she wanted to build on those experiences, but needed some to freshen up her skills, needed some new skills, specifically in the area of social media outreach. And so she decided, especially because 7 years ago when she was working, nobody was talking about blogging and Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Now that experience is expected. So she's working with a small company in New Hampshire doing their social media outreach. And frankly, when she goes on interviews now, it's a lot more beneficial to be able to talk about that than talking about what it's been like, as a stay-at-home mom doing her PTA work. So this gives you something more to discuss.
And how do you convince this employer that they should bank on you, the experienced person who maybe has been out of work for a little while because you've lost your job or you had some kids, as opposed to the hungry college student who might be competing against you?
I think experience and wisdom counts for a lot, and I think employers recognize this. And when you show that you've been staying busy, we've got another great example, this guy, Joe Connolly, who he was laid off from his position in IT, and he went to employers and discovered that what they were also interested in was project management experience, which he didn't have. So he got an internship that allowed him to combine his IT experience also with project management experience. And when you can sit down to an employer and say, listen, I know that this is what you guys are looking for, so I went out and I got this on-the-job experience. I'm not just going to come in and get that experience. I'm doing it right now. He says that employers are looking at him in a much more desirable way. He's much more hireable. And so for the same reason that students go and get internships to make themselves more marketable, adults can do the same thing. And I think when someone sees that you're hustling, it counts for a lot.
And 10 seconds, how long should an adult stay in that internship?
Oh, a couple months max. And you know what? Everyone knows that you're still job searching at the same time. So it's not a formal commitment in lieu of your formal search.
All right, Tory Johnson, great advice. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And if you'd like to get much more of Tory's career advice at abcnews.com, log on and be sure to read in.